welcome back to another episode of my podcast. Thanks for joining, y'all. It is officially the new year. It's 2026, and I feel like I have completed quite a bit of my New Year's resolutions from last year. I want to rewatch the video that I did last year, but it also gave me the idea to record a new New Year's resolution list, and it's a little bit shorter this year, but I think it has more quality rather than quantity. Last year I think I did quite a few New Year's resolutions, and some of them did not occur, but some of them did. So this year I think I have like 5 of them, and I'm also trying to not put too much pressure in completing them, because I feel like some of these things are stuff that will just come naturally to me, and yeah. I don't know. Okay, let's hop right into it. Also, I am wearing headphones to try and help with the audio, and this episode is going to be a little bit shorter than usual because I low-key gotta pee real bad, and I am in a parking lot right now, and I'm not trying to pee in the bushes in the middle of the Canadian winter. So yeah, anyway, let's get right into it. So my first New Year's resolution is I want to start living more authentically. I think I may have said something similar to this last year, but I feel like I haven't been very intentional with it this past year. It's more so of like making kind of subconscious changes, but now I want them to be a little bit more conscious and think a little bit more on how I interact with the world and how I interact with myself. So yeah, I have like a couple of notes on living authentically. So I feel like it hasn't really been a big priority in my life up until now, and I've been thinking a lot about what it means to live authentically, and how people live inauthentically in society. I don't know, I wrote a little blurb about masks and how they're a universal motif across cultures, and they symbolize power, they're used for comedy, but they present a false or amplified reality of what the wearer is trying to portray. And the concept of hiding behind a mask is used a lot when talking about masking things we want to hide out of fear of being unaccepted. So we all put on masks depending on situations we face on a daily basis, and we use these fronts to help us succeed socially and protect our true selves from facing scrutiny or judgment. This is kind of a basic concept, and all of us, I feel like, know about it. But yeah, I don't know. For a long time, I put on, I believe, a mask of confidence to protect myself from scrutiny I thought other people would show me if I showed my true self, which includes me being insecure about certain things. I feel like I am kind of a weird girl. Like, I am into weird and quirky stuff. So and I don't know, I feel like I have put a lot of weight into what other people think of me and also what I think of myself, and a part of living authentically is to try and shed that, and not necessarily not care, but to attract the things that you're meant to attract by acting like your most authentic self. I feel like this past year and these past 2 years, I've reflected a lot, and I feel like I've had an issue of attracting the wrong people in my life. I'm a person that deeply values intimate personal connections, and I feel like no matter how hard I tried in making myself available and going through the motions of friendships/relationships, I was rarely met with the same level of effort that I put in, and I think a lot of that has to do with how I was presenting myself and not being authentic to myself. So I was attracting people that also weren't living authentically. That's not a good way to start a relationship. Like, you can't start a relationship or a friendship by presenting yourself in a way that isn't true to yourself, because at the end of the day, you're gonna have to shed the mask eventually, and if they don't like the person underneath it, then that relationship is just gonna crumble. When I presented myself with an aura of extreme confidence and like I don't give a fuck energy, that is not who I am. I care a lot. I'm a very sensitive person. So yeah, I took a lot of time this summer and fall analyzing how I'm present in my relationships and how I need the people who I love to be present in my life. So in situations where I felt a lot of anxiety or unease, when I thought I was acting in a way that I thought that I was acting in a way that controlled people's perceptions of me. I know I wasn't acting authentically, and I believe a lot of my anxiety and all of those feelings of unease come from me not living authentically. I think it also goes hand in hand with loving yourself, which is also something that I have been way more conscious of and have been doing a lot of like physical and mental actions to work towards. So they come from both knowing and spending time with yourself, and like they're very similar, but I think authentic living is found in breaking away from a lot of social barriers and becoming your own spokesperson in a way. And yeah, a lot of this comes from becoming an adult and finding your place in the world. And I'm in a place where my future feels kind of unsure. I feel like so many of my plans are so close but so far, and you know, some of my dreams that I had aren't going to come into fruition, but at the same time I'm coming up with new dreams that I'm even more excited about. So yeah, I think this is what being a young adult is. I'm turning 20 in like 3 months and I'm so scared, guys. I'm like terrified. But it's okay. And that's still so young. Like I don't feel 20 or what I perceived 20 as when I was 16, you know? So yeah, I don't know. I feel like being a young adult and coming into adulthood is walking towards uncertainty, but I know that even though my future is uncertain, if I live authentically to myself, I will attract people and experiences and the future that aligns with who I am as a person. So yeah, I guess living authentically, it kind of coincides with manifestation, but I think it's harder to live authentically. It's harder to expose yourself to scrutiny, and it's harder to go against the grain. And yeah, I feel like a lot of people, they don't actively try to live in a way that's authentic to themselves. So when people see people that are, I think it can be kind of not jarring, but perceived weirdly. I don't know. But I don't know. I think the outcome of living authentically is that you don't have to hide and you can use masks when necessary without becoming one and having it be a part of your identity. But yeah, that was my first resolution, and it is a continuous process. I am still gonna, be anxious. I'm still gonna change the way I talk and like my personality in certain situations around certain people, because that's just what being human is. That's just how life is. But yeah, I don't know. I just want to live in a way that attracts things that are meant to be in my life and things that align in my life, and especially with future friendships. I've been putting a lot more effort into being selective of who I spend time with, and that has kind of dwindled my social circle a little bit, but it's made me feel more rejuvenated and I don't know, I feel like I have more energy because I spend time with people who give me energy, and I spend time with people who validate my living experience. And yeah, I don't know, it's just harder to be around people that you feel like you can't really be yourself with. And that's not necessarily to say that those people are bad or those people are like not good friends. Like that's not true. It's just people serve different purposes, and sometimes it's a bit harder to be around people that you're just not meant to be around. I don't know what I'm trying to say, y'all, but I don't know, I'm just being more selective, and I feel like that has helped me to create better boundaries for myself. I'm not spreading myself as thin as I was, and yeah, I don't know. It leads to deeper connections and to more outlets of healthy validation. But yeah, my second New Year's resolution is to save money. And I think I'm okay with money. I'm okay with saving money. I was able to buy a car, so I'm not that bad. But I want to be more financially conscious. I want to spend less money on things that don't matter and aren't long lasting. And I want to save up for bigger things. I want to save up for bigger experiences. I want to save up to help other people. Like, my goal is to have, like, I don't know, is to always have $50 in my wallet. And unfortunately, I'm not at a place right now where I can have $50 in cash in my wallet. So yeah, that's where I want to be at for 2027. I want to save up money. I want to be able to have enough money to move out and to not be scared about it. Yeah, that's like a major goal for hopefully a few months. I want to move out. I want to start living my life as an adult and yeah, have autonomy over myself as an adult, because I feel like that is pretty limited when you still live with your family, but you know, no complaints. Yeah, I want to become self-sufficient. I want to grow into my adulthood and be a little bit more independent, and to do that you need money. So yeah, that's what I'm trying to do. Thirdly, this kind of goes along with the authenticity thing. I want to figure out my place in the world. I don't know. I feel like I am pulled in so many directions now, and things are like starting to get real. You know, it's easy to dream big when you're in high school or when you're in your teen years. But it's harder when you're in the time frame of like, you have to work hard to get there. And I am a hard worker. I don't know, I feel like I'm pretty ambitious. I like to work hard, but it's difficult when you don't really have a clear path. And I have so many things that I want to do in my life, but now I'm in the place where I have to build those stepping stones to get there. And it's a little scary, guys. Like, I don't know where I'm going to be in 5 years. I don't know what future job I'm going to have, like my big girl career job. And I think I need to let go of a lot of expectations that I had for myself. Not because they're too big, but because they don't align with who I am now and what I want for my future. So figuring that out is a little scary, but I think I'll get there and I'll do it. And I want to be more open to what the future holds, even if it's not in the plan that I made when I was 15. How am I going to do this? I want to volunteer more. I want to be more in tune with what I want for my future and make my decisions based off of those things. I've always kind of journaled. Not kind of journaled. I have been journaling for a long time. Obviously, I like documenting myself and documenting my growth through this platform and through other, you know, forms of media that are public and for myself. But yeah, I want to journal. I want to set my intentions, you know, out loud verbally and to write them down. I feel like that kind of helps subconsciously, I guess. But yeah, I want to decentralize a need for validation that I'm a good person and be more accepting of myself in all aspects. And I think that'll help me find my place in the world, because I feel like I do have a need for validation, less from other people, but more so from myself. And that has a lot to do with like my expectations for myself in the future. And I set very high expectations for myself. So when I don't reach them, then, you know, in my head, I'm like, girl, what are you doing? You know? But yeah, I think I need to give myself more grace and be accepting of who I am now and know that it'll work out in the end. I believe I have a good support system. I have, I don't know, I'm a pretty creative person, and I think that no matter what, I will be successful in a way, not in like, I'm gonna be rich and famous. Like, I'm gonna be successful in that I will be satisfied with my future, because I will get there, you know, and be more, determined to saying things definitely, you know, like I will be happy because no matter where I am, I have myself, and I know that I am deserving of that, you know? I'm deserving of feeling satisfied in who I am and in my career and in my friendships and in my future relationships. And yeah, I feel like with living authentically, those things will come to me, you know? And if I had that mindset of these things will come to me, then I feel like they will happen, you know? It's like putting a prayer out there, and I feel like they hopefully will be answered. So yeah, I don't know. I want to put myself out there in a way that is productive. That's also goes along with what I said about surrounding yourself with people that align with you. I want to be productive with my time. I want to be productive with the people around me, with who I connect with yeah, all of that stuff. And yeah, because if I'm not, then what's the point? You know, if I surround myself with people that don't care about me or that don't like me or that don't want to actually spend time with me, what's the point? You know, I'm just wasting my time. I could be spending my time with my friends that I know like me and that I don't have to hide myself, you know, type shit. I also want to do things that give me joy and that may lead to bigger projects. I love art. I love visual art, and I really want to write a graphic novel. That's one of my life goals that I've been wanting since I was a child. So I've always put it off because I feel like I was never, or I haven't reached that threshold of being good enough at art or being good enough at writing. But you know, if I don't start now, when am I gonna start? You know, I want to I want to get ahead on these things, and I want to actually try them and not put so much pressure in being successful in those aspects, but like actually work on putting myself out there in a way that is productive. You know, I want to not wait to get better at my art. I want to actually start doing it, and then in that process create something that I love. So yeah. Oh, I also want to get better at networking. I want to put myself in spaces that will help me in the future, and I don't mean that in like a selfish way. Like, I'm not a person that likes to socially climb, but I want to be in spaces that will progress me in my future career and that will lead me into finding more people that align with me, and I feel like that would be beneficial. I don't know. And I think that would help me figure out my place in the world and yeah, put me where I need to be at the right time. So yeah, my 5th New Year's resolution is to stop caring about what anyone thinks of me, including myself. And I don't mean that in like an individualistic, I don't owe anybody anything way. I don't think that that's a healthy mindset at all. But that goes with giving myself grace and to not put too much weight into what I think about myself, because at the end of the day, I'm just a person existing in my own mind and in the world. And a lot of our brains are weird, and we can trick ourselves into thinking things that aren't true. And that could lead into negative thinking pathways. And if you put too much weight in what you think about yourself, if you fail or if you stumble or falter in any way, then that takes a blow on your self-esteem, you know? Yeah, and I think the relationship you have with yourself is very much similar to the relationship that you have with other people, because you are a holistic being, but I feel like a lot of the time we detach ourselves in our minds from who we really are, and we see ourselves as different versions. Like, you have the version of yourself that is your body and how you look and how you interact with the spaces around you, and you have the version of yourself that exists in your mind that tells you things about yourself, that validates yourself in positive and negative ways. And if you put too much weight in one or the other, then it just, everything gets screwed up. You know, if you put too much weight in how you think about yourself, like mentally, and how you talk to yourself and how you give yourself grace or give yourself, you know, or put yourself down, then I don't know, it affects you negatively. It affects your self-confidence. It affects your ability to interact with yourself, and it detaches yourself from your body. But if you put too much weight in how you exist physically in social settings, in the way you look, and in the way you interact with people, then that also puts you in a negative headspace. So aligning those things and not, you know, putting expectations that will affect my self-esteem on myself is an important thing that I need to learn. And I think I put, like, I'm pretty good at not caring about what other people think, but I care a lot about what I think about myself. And I think I need to be able to have a better relationship with that in the future. And I think it'll help me to, just be a more well-rounded person and to be more open to failure because I am not perfect, and that's okay. So I also need to unlearn my main character complex. That's what I put down. Since I was a young child, I've always had this feeling of I'm meant to be someone who is big, who moves in the world in the way that impacts other people in a major way. And I feel like this expectation has kind of led me into thinking that my future needs to look a certain way, and the way that I interact with people needs to look a certain way, and I don't think that that's a good thing, I think that I'm a special person, but I also think that other people are special, and being successful and living up to that expectation of what I thought success looked like as a child, like being famous or being rich or, being this big person that leads big projects. Like, that is what I thought that I would become. And that's still like what I want to become. I want to be someone that positively impacts a lot of people. And I feel like I can do that, but maybe not in the way that I thought when I was younger. I don't know. I don't really know what I'm trying to say. But I feel like that kind of led to a main character complex of like thinking a lot about myself and putting a lot of expectations on myself to move in a way that'll lead me into becoming this big person. But I don't know, I think I need to get rid of that. I need to get rid of that expectation and realize that I can impact the people around me in a big way, and I can impact a small group of people in a big way, and I don't have to impact the world. Like it's a pretty big expectation. Like, you don't need to have your name in the freaking history books, right? Yeah, and like realizing that other people are the main character in their own story, and it's okay to be the side character in someone else's story. And I think that way of thinking has led me to be really hurt by things that are kind of basic, Like, I used to get really hurt when I lost a friend, or when I was, treated unkindly, because it's like, what the freak? I'm the main character. Why are you treating me poorly? Like, no, girl, you are going to go in and out of people's lives, and you are going to impact many people's lives in ways that you don't find substantial, but may be substantial to them. Like, I don't have to know everything. I don't have to know what other people think of me. I don't have to, people are allowed to react to my presence in a way that I don't want them to, and that's okay. It's a part of life. It's a part of everyone is their own individual, and that's beautiful, and that is what makes society so beautiful and so diverse. I'm special, but so is everyone around me, and I'm the main character of my life, but so are other people, and they're allowed to move in ways that make them the main character. I don't know if what I'm saying makes sense, guys, but just bear with me. And the last point, I want to become an even bigger feminist than I am right now. I consider myself a feminist, and I consider like anyone who believes in gender equality to be a feminist, but that doesn't mean that I am perfect in my feminism. No one is, because misogyny is ingrained in our society. It's ingrained in everything. Like, since we're children, the movies that we watch, the media we consume, the way we're raised, the way that other people interact with us, all of it has seeds of misogyny in it, because we live in a patriarchy, you know? Like, all of this stuff, like, feminism has not existed for a long time, and I think people forget that. I could go on a whole tangent about it. I'm not the most knowledgeable person, but I have a lot of opinions. But I think people forget that just because we live in a society now that is so much more accepting than it was like 30 years ago, that it's not been like this since humanity began. And I want to do more research on it. I want to challenge the people around me more actively, like in the day-to-day. You know, I want to challenge misogynistic language. I want to ask more questions to the men and women in my life about what they believe, and challenge their beliefs and have them challenge my beliefs. And yeah, I also just, want to unapologetically be myself, be a woman moving in a world that is more liberated than it was a long time ago. I want to indulge in things that my ancestors haven't been able to indulge in. And yeah, I don't know. I want to be a part of a movement that will hopefully be long-lasting in society. And one day we will get to a point, I hope, where feminism and gender equality has been around in society longer than it hasn't. But right now, we're not at that point, and I think we need to be aware of that. We need to be aware of the fact that this is all new, and that what has been ingrained in society since society began won't just disappear in 20 years. It won't disappear in 30 years. It won't disappear in 100 years, because we've been around for forever, guys. It's 2026, right? 2026 started when was it when Jesus died or something? Oh, I'm gonna sound so stupid right now. When did we start counting the year? Frick, I'm not connected to internet. Okay, so we started counting the years from Jesus's birth around 525 AD. And this is saying a lot of stuff that I don't really want to read right now. We started counting 2026 around 525 AD. Okay? So that is around the number of years estimated from the birth of Jesus. So even longer than that. Imagine thousands and thousands and thousands of years, even 2026 years. That is crazy. That's a crazy amount of time. Okay, I'm gonna Google, when did feminism start? Around the mid-19th century. Chat, that is not a long time at all. I don't know, and it's so crazy to me that people just don't think about stuff like this. I want to read more about feminist history. I want to study gender issues more. I want to keep up with current news. And I want to check myself for internalized misogyny, because I absolutely have it, and I'm aware of it. And, in my daily life, I am misogynistic because it is ingrained in me, it is ingrained in society. And I'm not going to be perfect. I'm never going to be perfect. And I feel like that part of me and society won't be fixed in a long time. So yeah, I want to be more aware of it. I want to fix it the best I can, because no one is perfect. Feminism itself is not perfect at all. There are so many problems with it, but it is a stepping stone to hopefully a future where, we'll read about in history books where women weren't perceived as people, and every single person will be like, that is crazy. That's crazy. Those people were like cavemen. Because we think about cavemen back in the day, how they were like all ooga booga and dumb, and like they freaking figured out the wheel, and we're like, wow, crazy. They took so long to figure out the freaking wheel, and wheels move and make things move easier from point A to point B. I want it to be how that is how people think about misogyny, and that is how people think about, the oppression of people in general. But we are not at that point. So in the meantime, I am going to read about feminism. By that point, I will be long gone. All of us will be long gone. And I don't know, I want to be a part of the people that make that future happen. And that starts with me and my New Year's resolution. I'm just kidding. In what ways will I check myself for internalized misogyny? In me not pitting myself against other women, because at the end of the day, most girls, if not every girl, does it. I want to unlearn the ingrained value I have about the opinions of men and the value of men themselves, because they are valuable because they're humans. They're not valuable because they have a penis or they express themselves as men. That's not what gives them value. What gives them value is that they are, a beautiful person that has their own thoughts and opinions, that exists in the world. Anyway, guys, this has been a longer episode than I thought it would be. My hands are getting chilly, and I really hope my car didn't run out of battery, because this light has been on for like 30 minutes. So yeah, thank you for joining me again, and I'll make this video next year. Hopefully my New Year's resolutions work out, and I appreciate all of y'all for supporting a small content creator like me. And yeah, thanks. See y'all later. Bye!